Yeah. Hard. Yeah. Militant-minded general, nine-grip, the grip with blades and a pen that can sharpen your spine's tip. Level-headed, though my mind flips from side to side with an acrobat's experience. After I stick it, I'm luring down a demon-possessed Dahiye. Seems Jay's the best for the job with no code.
What's the word, y'all? It's KTR_podcast, Another Rose Podcast, and you are now live and direct with your boy Cinko, Big Harv, and J-Bo himself for episode 36 of KTR, hashtag KTR. We are KTR. We are in the building. This is episode 36 of Know the Ropes Podcast. My brothers, for the 36th time, how are y'all doing today?
Can't complain, buddy. Can't complain.
That's good. It's good. Big Harv, how you feeling?
Life is life, you know. We're here. We have reason to be here. You know, let's reach.
Exactly. We are happy to be here. This is life. And what is life on Know the Ropes Podcast? Because we are live and direct. And before we get in this episode, you got to do one simple favor thing, requirement, request from us, please. Take it all in. Go follow us on all social media platforms, KTR_podcast, Twitter and Instagram, Know the Ropes Podcast, Facebook and YouTube. Know the Ropes Podcast on all podcast platforms. Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. We are on everything. And don't forget to get your merch at ProWrestlingTees.com/KTR podcast.
My man's on top of it tonight.
Boom, we in the bitch. Hey, I gotta bleep that out. Wow, we're gonna let it ride. All right, cool. Now we got all that good stuff out the way. It's time to get into the nitty-gritty real quick. The main thing that's been buzzing around for the past I'm about to say week. It ain't been a week. It was on Friday and yesterday. So Friday, Monday. So what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, 4 days, pretty much. Mm-hmm. It's time to shake things up a bit. In the words of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, we just had the WWE World Wrestling Entertainment Draft. It started on SmackDown Friday night on October 1st. It ended on Monday Night Raw, which is yesterday on October 4th. We had some shakeups, we had some breakups, we had some movement, we had some stays. But all in all, we finally had the WWE Draft. And it's probably one of very few moments in the WWE that people look forward to, you know, disregarding like the pay-per-views and stuff like that. If it's something just on a regular scheduled television program, it would be the WWE Draft. Now let's get down to business. All right, as you can see, I'm just gonna put it up on the screen because I ain't gonna talk about it, you know, so y'all can see who's on Monday Night Raw, who's on Friday Night SmackDown. You know, I don't know why I'm telling y'all, because y'all probably already know who's on each show. So I'm not even gonna throw it up on the screen because that's gonna mess up my editing real quick. So we ain't gonna worry about that. But how do y'all feel about the WWE Draft? How y'all feel about it? Tell me y'all feels. Tell me y'all feels about it. You know what? I'll take that back since y'all took too long to answer. Who won the draft? I drank a cup of Kool-Aid. I'm sorry. It has a lot of sugar. But no, who you think won the draft? Raw, SmackDown?
In my opinion, Raw won the draft this time. Raw had a whole lot more heavy hitters, had more star power. Yeah, we could definitely go down the list, but I mean, if we look at it, you know, SmackDown, they had their big names such as Roman Reigns staying, the Usos, Charlotte, Sasha, whatever. But Raw just had too many big names to ignore. You got Big E, you got Bianca Belair, you got Lashley, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, Street Profits, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Apollo, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio. I mean, you can just see from the list right there. Raw had a much bigger star power, so they won in that aspect. But I think SmackDown has a more what you consider future aspect. They have more possibilities to do something different and unique. But Raw won as far as star power.
Big Horde.
And yeah, Raw won, but they basically just flip-flopped the rosters. Over the last year, really, a lot of people have been praising SmackDown and its depth and its characters and what they've been doing over Raw. We've seen reports of the networks, both networks, not too happy with what WWE is doing with the product. but we did see that there was more pressure on Raw to start turning in better numbers. So I'm not surprised that they won the draft. It was still pretty lackluster. Like, it was like the only thing they could think to do was just basically swap rosters. Is how it felt to me. Like, it was a tonal shift. Raw always usually had the more aspirational, the future champions or the future people to carry the business. So that's what we were used to. And SmackDown was always the place you went to for the wrestling. So I feel like they had to flip like that. They had to do something. They had to try to make people happy, and that's really all they could do. But I feel like it was probably the most lackluster draft of all time.
All time.
It was trash.
Why do you hate it so much?
Well, I agree with Harv, and one of the main reasons was, number one, they did release a lot of guys and girls leading up into this draft, first off. Secondly, Roman Reigns, he's pretty much taken over SmackDown by himself, okay? So no matter who you put on that show with him, his content is automatically going to be good. Harv brought up a good point that Raw needed to put up better numbers, and just stacking the deck with the number of star power they have on Raw is what's going to do it. In turn, though, this actually kind of hurts SmackDown because, we need some strong competitors for Roman Reigns, him being the top dog, especially now we got Charlotte over there as well, who's Sam's favorite female wrestler right now.
Yeah, she is.
There's really no continual competitors now for Reigns. I mean, you got Drew McIntyre, the most obvious one going over there, but you got Cesaro on there over there too. But like who else? And Cesaro already fought him and lost. Like, who else is considered legitimate challenge for Reigns at this point?
This is what I got to say about it. See, now SmackDown had drafted Randy Orton. They would have won this draft hands down, easy by a landslide. First of all, secondly, though, SmackDown used to be a land of opportunity, but no, it switched over to Raw. This is what I would say about SmackDown, though, real quick. SmackDown is going to win one ratings wise with the draft. Raw won with with future and wrestling aspect of the draft. Good look at SmackDown. Of course, you got the star power Reigns. Bam. SmackDown automatically has the best tag team division already. You're looking at that right now with just New Day, Bloodline. Then you got Hit Row in there, so it just adds more of an element. Also, it's gonna bring us over into watching more too as well. So that's another thing. And we got Sasha over there too, another element. And so I can see though, but obviously with the heavy hitters and when it comes to that main title picture, obviously we already know we're gonna see a long storyline between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. And that's just gonna carry all the way over till next year. That's what it's gonna be, because just look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Because I mean, just looking at the SmackDown roster, I don't see anything else, like any other big name that'll take over. I just see Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. Like, no offense to the other guys on this list, but I look at it though, everybody I just see solid tag teams. Because now they got Sheamus and Cesaro on the show. I think that may be a reunion for the bar, and that was a solid tag team. And I would love to see them include a tag team picture with the other three tag teams I named earlier, just for solid matches going forward. But that's just my 2 cents. But like with Raw, I love like how it's set up, because you don't know who could be the next WWE champion, like, or who gonna be the next mid-card champion, because it's just the board's out there. You just obviously you're gonna see Bobby Lashley get a title again, but you just see so many other names, and it makes you got Finn Balor there, you got Edge that can come back and get it again, and you have a Karrion Kross possibly. You have the Bearcat Keith Lee. You got just a multitude of names. You got Kevin Owens as well. So and Seth Rollins, like they put like all the the good technical, background wrestlers on that show, and they put the dominant ones, the main two dominant ones that they don't want to see lose on SmackDown. But we're gonna see one of them lose because they're gonna have that match at WrestleMania. Somebody got to take an L. Is what it is. So I think they just holding that off for that because they didn't want them to feud a Survivor Series or anything like that. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, SmackDown also has a bunch of potential surprises on there. You know, they just brought up Xia Li over there, so that would be. They brought Ridge Holland. I was actually surprised.
That threw me off. I saw that. I was like, okay.
That I thought he was going to be in NXT for a little bit, especially for what they're trying to do with NXT 2.0. But, you know, you got him, Angel Garza and Humberto, newly formed tag team. You know, that's going to be interesting to watch. You already brought Row, so that was another shocker. I didn't expect to see them on SmackDown or Raw anytime soon.
Right.
And then even, you know, this is more of a fantasy, but, you know, this is an opportunity for Xavier Woods to even shine out and finally get some type of singles acknowledgement. Even though Kofi's on SmackDown too, it's a chance, you know. So there's a lot of potential surprises that can come out of SmackDown though.
If WWE does the right thing and just gives him what he deserves or earns with the King of the Ring tournament, that's when he have to shine. That's how I see it. And I really see it too. Just a quick roses. Give him Xavier Woods his roses because there was no obvious doubt of him going forward, which was wild in that everybody's opinion, because they just saw him as the weak link of the New Day. But the way he's just been carrying the New Day, mic skills, showing that he has great in-ring ability, been having some bomb matches in the past year. And he had great matches back then too, with how every time he earned a tag team title with the New Day. But the fact that he's finally going to be able to get his shine, hopefully they put in this King of Ring tournament, hopefully he can show and display and showcase everything he could do as a one-on-one wrestler. It's going to be well-deserved because everybody in that New Day group deserves something. Yeah. Kofi got stardom. Big E got his. Now it's time for Xavier Wood to get his too. So hopefully they do something with that. And also another thing I'm glad I made this tweet too, like a week before they did the draft. They separated Veer from Shanky and Jinder Mahal. It's something about Veer. It's something about Veer that I like. And I'm glad he's gonna have a singles run. Because I said he needs to go solo now. And what happened? Veer's on Raw and the other two guys on SmackDown. I like that.
Veer is different.
Yeah. Veer is different. He bring a lot of energy to the table and he can move. I don't know about Shanky. Shanky a little off to me, but it is what it is. So
I can't get over the name, dog.
And the group was slapjacking them.
Oh yeah, they separated Mason T-Bar. Slapjack ain't got a home right now.
Not Slapjack, dude.
Slapjack ain't got a flip. Flapjack, I don't know what's up with him, man. He homes right now. He a free agent. He looking for a team. He trying to get on somebody's summer roster right now. This ain't the NBA. I'm tripping. But yeah, he just trying to get on some brand. Might need to go back to NXT. I don't know. We're gonna see. But with that being said, who do you believe was the best draft pick that doesn't have a title?
Damn,
that was an easy given right there. I said what non-title person it was the best draft pick.
It depends. So for SmackDown, it has to be Drew McIntyre because he's the one who benefits the most out of the draft for SmackDown. And I think for Raw, I may be a bit biased, but I'm going with Bianca Belair. She consistently brings a flair to the women's division, and she didn't have to go over to Raw, honestly. She was doing great on SmackDown on her own. Going over to Raw, it wasn't necessary, but it's still great. It's still a great move, and she can do the dominance that she should have done when she came back to the WWE on Raw a couple years ago. So Bianca, in my opinion, for Raw.
Big Harv, what do you feel?
Yeah, I said Bianca too. Obvious reasons. I feel like that women's division needs Bianca. I feel like SmackDown needs it too. But yeah.
So only one of her to go around. So yeah. So
that's they got to build people better. But SmackDown, I just feel like Drew was obvious. Like they didn't have no choice but to move Drew. You know what I mean? Like they don't have anybody else over there. So he was the best acquisition, but he was also the most obvious. It wasn't like a big moment to me. It wasn't a big revelation. Like, yeah, you know he's going. It's guaranteed.
I agree with both those as well. Bianca and Drew, like I don't really see nothing else, you know. So it is what it is. So who was the worst draft pick to the shows?
Okay. For Raw, the worst draft pick was Carmella. She brings absolutely no, I'm sorry. She don't bring nothing to the table for neither Raw or SmackDown. So even if she go back to NXT, I don't see a Mandy Rose shocker out of Carmella. So I think she was probably the worst one. And then for SmackDown, I was looking at the list, and like I was saying earlier, it's a whole bunch of potential. But in my opinion, I would say Drew Gulak was probably the worst one, not because of his in-ring ability, obviously, but because we know they're not going to do anything with him. Nothing in the future. Now he's on SmackDown. It's not going to change. So just to keep dragging him on and making the deal that, oh, well, he's on SmackDown now, it's not going to do anything for his career or SmackDown. So he was probably the worst one in my opinion.
Or
again, I can't say this enough. The entire draft trash.
pick one person, Harv.
So with that being said, the entire draft was trash.
We're gonna give him a second since he doesn't want to follow directions. I just asked him, just pick one bad. What was the worst draft pick? Not the whole draft. All right. We know you love AEW. It's okay. So we're just gonna say which one wrestler from Raw. I'm gonna give you one more chance. One wrestler from Raw, one wrestler from SmackDown. Who was the worst draft pick? I just asked on mutual. Hard. You can go now.
He's still muted.
I know. I just asked him up mute. I don't know why he don't want to trust it. All right, I'll just go ahead and do mine real quick until he comes back. So with me, Raw, that was a difficult one for me. Okay, he just unmuted himself. Okay, he just went to boy. All right, so with Raw for me, it's between two people. One is obvious, Rey Mysterio's son. Secondly,
Okay.
yeah, Rey Mysterio's son. And the other person, no disrespect, but I have no idea what he can and cannot do. But it's actually the Olympic gold medalist himself. I'm sorry. Like, no offense. No, I respect him. He can wrestle. We already know, obviously know he can wrestle. He's the best in the world in wrestling. Obviously, he got a gold medal. So I mean, you can't hate on that. But I mean, WWE is a lot more than just being able to wrestle. I need to see what we do on the entertainment aspect. I need to see what other movesets he can have. Because I don't want to see what they did with, you know, what's the old girl name? Ronda Rousey.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just limited moveset, and that was it. And they just threw a belt on her, you know. So I respect old dude. I respect him. No, he good. I just, you know, you on the main roster now. I need to see, you gotta see the mic skills, the charisma, you know, and the in-ring ability. You know, you got in-ring ability, but do you have sports entertainment in-ring ability? It's you know, just the flip-flop thing right there. You know, that's all I gotta say, you know. But shout out to him, respect him. Glad, proud he got the gold medal. Glad, proud he got signed to WWE, especially at a young age. And he's still in college. Getting that degree. Shout out to him. My brother, you keep shining. But like I said, not saying you bad nothing, but no, just show me something. Prove something. Do work. Let's see you work. That's all I got to say. Make me wrong. Prove me wrong. In SmackDown, I'm sorry, J-Bo, I'm going to say Ricochet.
I'm not even surprised.
I'm like, it's good because it's good for him in an aspect because of the fact that the SmackDown roster is a little bit more dense than Raw, and so he won't be as overshadowed and overlooked if he was still on the Raw brand. But at the same time, I see how the roster is. And if they was talking about like for opportunities and matches and stuff like that, I feel like he would fit more over on the Raw side. Honestly, I can see him having a dope match with like a Finn Balor, or a dope match with like a Kevin Owens, or a dope match with like an Apollo Crews, or a dope match with Okay, I'm trying to look outside the 24/7. No, they did the right thing, because if I saw Ricochet one-on-one with Rey Mysterio's son and he lost,
I'll be upset with you.
Exactly. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, so those are my two things right there. Those worst draft picks of the show.
I'm not even going to disagree with you with Ricochet, because it's honestly the same theory with Drew Gulak, because it's hard for us to even see any positives to come out of it. But I think he's better off on SmackDown, because like you said, yeah, he can have dope matches with these wrestlers on Raw, but they're going to try to build those. On SmackDown, they're going to be kind of forced to bring up guys. And so this forcibly gives Ricochet an opportunity to try to get in the ring, get on the mic, hopefully gets better, and then, of course, bring it in the ring. That way, in the future, when he comes back to Raw or whoever comes to SmackDown, he'll be well prepared and well built. But, of course, that's fantasy booking at that point. But I get it.
Big Harv, do you want to answer the question properly now?
I just pulled two names out of my ass, T-Bar and Shanky. But you know how I feel. What you guys say?
Let me go.
Yeah. Enzo. Let's talk about Enzo. Limited move set. They threw a title on him. All right, we can continue.
That's not the same thing. No, it's not the same thing.
That's what you said.
No, it's not. There's a big difference between Enzo and Ronda Rousey.
That's what you said.
Enzo can carry a show just with a microphone. He don't need that.
That's what you said, though. You ain't say nothing about that.
Well, this is irrelevant anyway.
That's all I'm saying. I said continue. I mean, we didn't have to do this. That's what you said.
But you brought it up though for no reason.
No, I brought it up because you said that they gave the title to somebody with a limited moveset.
She couldn't do nothing. No, she can't even talk on the mic. Don't say Enzo can't talk on the mic. Enzo is.
I would never say that.
Exactly.
That's not what you brought up. You don't know what he can do yet. So how can you say that he's one of the worst?
What you
talking about Gableson?
I ain't saying he was bad. I'm just saying I don't know yet.
You put him on your worst draft pick list, though.
Because we don't know nothing about him. That's the reason why I say it. Like, I'm not going to just blindly draft somebody to my whole brain and not knowing what they can or cannot do. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, but then again,
and I was just saying examples leading up to, we don't know if he has this or that yet.
I agree.
I think what Harv is trying to say, that it's hard to say that they're even the best or the worst if you haven't even seen them yet. That's the thing. Like
we're not gonna know nothing at all. This is the thing about it, because look at it like this. We don't even know if he's gonna wrestle or not. They may just draft him just for ambassador purpose and just a look, this and that. The dude's still in school. He's still wrestling for his school. He's on the contract where he can finish up school and his wrestling career at college. Then he can come over. So we don't know when he's gonna come over to the WWE or come in development and train. So but if he does hop in that ring, that was reps as a but yeah, if he hops in that ring out of the blue, I don't know what's gonna happen. Obviously, he gonna hit people with a couple moves, for like cheer and all. It makes sense because he can hit wrestling moves actually, but I don't know if he gonna top a flop if he hop on the mic. That's all I'm saying.
Because we don't know, I think your option with Dominic made more sense.
Yeah, because Dominic trash.
That's what I was saying. That was my point. Like, why would you put him on the same level as somebody that you have no confidence in? This guy is untapped potential.
Hard. This is just for show purposes, all right? I have to be the person that just be out the box, That's why I picked him. If I was being me, I was gonna say Dominic Mysterio. I already hate saying his name on the mic, so I'm gonna just say Rey Mysterio's son. So I'm gonna just leave it at that because it doesn't make sense why Rey Mysterio's son has a title already and Otis hasn't. It doesn't make sense that Rey Mysterio's son has a title before No, we're not gonna get on that rant again like I did last time. Anyway, another thing about this WWE draft, for my blood pressure get rose up again. Let's talk about this women's division.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, especially the tag team part of it. You know, Harv's favorite division. It didn't make sense to me at this point. I'm really agreeing with Harv now. They might as well just get rid of the women's tag team titles because one, obviously, the women's division is limited as already as we speak, and also they split all the women tag teams. So does it mean you're gonna form new tag teams with different women in the division, or what's going to happen? Because now Natalia and Tamina separate shows.
Egan Knox and
Shotzi Blackheart,
Shayna
different shows.
Is on separate shows.
Exactly.
Yeah, they breaking up everybody.
So I have no idea what's going to happen. What's going to go on? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm confused. What y'all think about it? I'm gonna let you talk about it. You know, be polite though. So go ahead.
It's they're just either gonna throw people together or they're gonna retire the titles. I mean, they've retired titles sooner. You know, it is what it is. They need to. That's the best option to me, is to split it up, let the women's divisions be a little bit more dense, and let them titles go. They weren't doing anything. They haven't had anything monumental happen with those titles ever. There's no point to them. There's no point to them. Their only options are to throw people together, which I've ran it on before. Like, that's what every tag team is. They throw them together. They win the titles off of whoever had them. Some new team gets thrown together. They knock them off, and then they break up. And then another team gets thrown together to take the titles. So it's either going to be that cycle again, or they just going to get rid of
them.
I mean, what else can you say? That you cannot expect a good future over something that doesn't have focus. And obviously, the women's tag team titles don't have focus. They haven't had focus. Even back to Harv's point, the most monumental thing that they had with the women's tag team titles was when they brought them in the Elimination Chamber match. That was probably the last thing. Even when they were defended at WrestleMania the one year in the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, that match didn't even live up to what people even expected. So there hasn't been anything good, and we don't even see anything good coming from it at this point. So I don't know. There's just no point. There hasn't been any point, but I see a point now, definitely.
Cool. All right. So since we got this draft talking about, let's talk about the future of these rosters going forward. All right. So it's going to be a shot in the dark question right here. Who do you see winning the Royal Rumble?
That's a hard one.
In my opinion, it has to be somebody from Raw. That's how I'm looking at it, because WrestleMania, I feel like it's already just in the books. Drew McIntyre from Reigns automatically.
Right. Yeah. And I don't think Drew's going to win the Rumble again. I don't see that happening.
Right.
You know what? Screw it. I'll say it. Keith Lee. Let's go. Let's go, Keith Lee. I mean, if you think about it, we already got more than enough star power on there. And Keith Lee definitely has capacity to go to the main event, put on good matches, and pretty much get a crowd behind him. I don't know about this whole Bearcat thing, but I can see that happening. Once again, shot in the dark. I probably need to do more analysis, but just for the fun of it, I'll go with Keith Lee.
Or
come back to me.
Let's see here. My opinion, that's a tough one for real.
Triple H. Come back. It's time.
Time to play the game again.
The dude is having heart problems right now.
He's going to take the suit off, and he's going to have that little Iron Man thing on his chest, powering his body.
Jesus Christ. Anyway. My God, he takes stuff too far. All right. Well, after that opinion.
I thought it was entertainment. Thought we were going for entertainment. What's going on?
It's a limit, man.
Uh,
For me, I feel like a heel is gonna win this year in the Royal Rumble. It's been a minute since that's happened. And with that, I mean, Bobby Lashley.
I mean, yeah, I can see
Why
that.
not? Makes sense, some because like I see him being he's out. He's gonna be out the picture for a while. He's gonna have this feud with Goldberg. Past Crown Jewel when the regular show starts up. You're gonna have Survivor Series, which is best of the best against each show. Then come December, whatever filler show that's gonna be, somebody's gonna fight Biggie randomly. Then St. Louis Royal Rumble. Bobby Lash gonna get his right there and there, and you're gonna see that and Biggie possibly go against each other.
But at WrestleMania, though, especially if they're
Makes
kind
sense.
of leaning towards that now, like WrestleMania is until end of March or early April next year,
Yep.
and they're shooting now, and 5-6 months until then, it's going to be a build for a Big E and Bobby Lashley payoff.
That's gonna go by quick. Just think about it. Like Crown Jewel, a title never switches ever. Filler. November Survivor Series, no title gonna switch because it's gonna be whoever champion over here, whoever champion over there. Each show battle each other. December, what's that gonna be? Like Hell in a Cell or TLC like that? Yeah, nothing ever gets switched to TLC. Honestly, it's kind of a filler. Yeah, maybe a tag team title gets switched. Yeah, but a mid card ain't no. One of the main titles gonna be out that picture for that show anyway. I already see it. So you got that Royal Rumble, boom.
And that makes sense. It's just I just don't see a Big E Bobby Lashley payoff. I agree that no major title is going to switch hands until then, especially with where we are with the WWE title and Roman Reigns holding the Universal title. But Bobby Lashley Big E payoff at WrestleMania, I don't know. I just don't see it.
I'm just saying, just look at stars line and everything. What's something what's up?
I was gonna make my actual choice. I'm gonna say, since you're talking about builds, I think a more realistic build would be, say, a Seth Rollins wins, and then the history from the Shield and the New Day would be used to build that. That's more akin to what WWE does, in my opinion, when they get WrestleMania season. They're not good for dragging feuds out 5 months.
I mean, true, but they might forget about it and come back to it, which some of this stuff they do already now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're gonna see. All right, so we talk about that. We talk about this. I mean, it's already see like the future of the women's division, so it's not gonna be done with that. But I'm gonna touch on this last thing real quick, and we'll head out. There was I saw an article about a rumor going around saying they were considering breaking up the Street Profits. Because for obvious reasons, because they want to see Montez Ford go solo. Now with that, Montez Ford, obviously great athlete, great charisma, appears to be a great all-around person, So obviously look like he can handle his own as a singles competitor. But if they did that, what do you think will happen with Angelo Dawkins?
The same thing that happened to what's his name? I don't even remember his name anymore. The former tag team partner of Otis. Tucker. Yeah, he'll get tuckered. Okay.
He'll get tuckered.
Wow. Everybody that didn't get any kind of push after the tag team broke up. And unfortunate because he's been there so long.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he basically waited on Angelo. I mean, not Angelo Montez to come in before they actually even did anything with him. Kind of similar to what they did with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. Neither one of them was really getting over it, and they threw them together. But Dawson, he's just been Dawkins. He's been there for so long, man. It'd be crazy him put in that position. That's very likely what would happen.
And the thing with Montez Ford, I've even said it on social media. With Montez Ford is a tremendous athlete. He can be a tremendous singles competitor by himself. But I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit terrified if that's the case, because I feel that they're not going to treat Montez Ford in the long run as a legitimate singles competitor. I think they'll do it, get a good pop, get the crowd behind them. Heck, probably even build up a real good feud with a top star. But once that dwindles down, it'll go maybe down to mid-card, then maybe down to 24/7 title, then eventually to main events, and then catering. And that's just what I see.
I don't think he gonna get down that far.
I do. I do. And it's not that I want him that low, but I see that happening. I just feel like they're not going to respect him in the long run, especially at his current state with the main guys that we have right now. I just don't think he'll be able to keep up with them as long. With the Bobby Lashley's, with the Big E's, with the Roman Reigns, with another big guy. Seth Rollins, I think he'll definitely do good with. But with as many big guys and what Vince McMahon is also shooting for, I just don't see that happening for a long run.
Like I said, with Montez Ford, like, I mean, you already see right now they push them as a possible face of the company. You already see he's in these infomercials, commercials, doing all these advertisements and endorsements, outside WWE, along with his wife. Angela Dawg's been thrown in here and there with a couple of them too with them. So the push is there, but is it needed or necessary? Like, I don't think so. I don't understand why they can't keep people together while still pushing one person as a singles person. Like, you see, it worked out. It was good for New Day. Like, why can't they do it with the Street Profits? Even though they were trying their best to break up the New Day, but New Day wasn't going, and they'll still make sure they kept everything intact and together with whatever they did, from the wrestling gear to outside elements, outside the wrestling with stuff on social media and stuff like that. They made sure people know this is the New Day. And that may be something that the Street Profits, they do that now on social media, so something they can continue to do, so they know not to break this group up, because every group doesn't need to be broken up.
That's true,
especially with it being too soon, because it's way too soon.
They do not need to break them up, but it also goes back to my prior point. You can't have a future for something that you don't have focus on. Unfortunately, I don't think there's an overall focus on Angelo Dawkins. I don't. So the focus is going to be on Montez. The focus is not on Dawkins, and from what the rumors might be, if they're true, the focus isn't even with the Street Profits for a long haul, just like it was for New Day. The focus, what it seems to be, is on Montez Ford. So even though it makes little to no sense to break them up, especially with how hot they are, and they're back on Raw, the inevitable is the focus is on Montez.
And he's married to Bianca. That'd be like the first, even if he just gets a mid-card title and she gets the women's title, you picture that.
Yeah.
They both can talk. They both are pretty damn talented. So I mean, so I can see that happening in the future. But I don't think he goes past mid-card, to be honestly. I see him more like a face Miz, where he does a bunch of the PR stuff because he's got the look and he's charismatic, and because of his marriage, and she's the same way.
His military background.
It's like 2-for-1 type deal. So, but I don't see him rising above like mid card. But I do see he could dominate the mid card. He could be a top competitor there for a long time. And maybe even like J-Bo said, maybe tease a couple feuds with some higher cats. But I don't ever see him as a world champ, because they're not gonna they're not gonna he ain't got it like that, I don't think, in my opinion.
Cool. With that is all the time that we have today for episode 36 of No Roast Podcast, KTR Podcast, #KTR. We are KTR. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. And before y'all sign off, Do this one simple thing for us. Go follow us on all social media platforms, KTR_podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Another Roast Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, Another Roast Podcast, all podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. We are on everything. And don't forget to get your merch at ProWrestlingTees.com/KTR Podcast. This is episode 36. KTR, hashtag KTR. We are KTR and we are out.
Cinko, that was smooth. But Harv, what should they do?
Cinko was in his bag. All right. He was in his bag for that intro. He was in his bag for that outro. All right. So I'm gonna blow some air in that bag, and y'all need to pump them damn numbers.
Yeah. Numbers, letters, all symbols of man-made devices that could cripple us all. Improve we can panicking when storm hits and knocks out the power grid. Are you fully prepared to live off the grid? How you think